All right, welcome everyone today to the last block of Saturday's matches. Today we have Anthony2308, versus LastingDiarrhea, seeded 13 versus 29. So I am quite excited to see how this will go, and I am Nameless Fanatic, one of your hosts, joined by Burger Dog. How are we doing?
Hi guys. As I've said as an earlier match today, my name is in fact Burger Dog, and I did commentate the most recent match of Saturday's block, and I was very much anticipating this, as especially with the fact that we did see a good matchup between Yuri Feet and I forgot the other guy. I think it was like Rakumi or something. But I am excited to see a matchup between seed 29 and 13, and even though they are a good 16 seeds apart, there is no determining whether one is going to win above the other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've seen, unexpected, matchups despite the seeding results. So it could be close, even if the numbers don't represent the accurately.
Exactly. And especially in times like these, some people can have just the nerves can get to them and make them go from a kind of like a skill set for Anthony, for a skill set for C13 can go down to a skill set below what's needed to beat LastingDiarrhea. And we do see who is Narani, bro?
What?
Look in chat. Narani protected Ellen. Who is that LastingDiarrhea?
Oh, I think that might be a LastingDiarrhea. Okay, wait.
So we do see LastingDiarrhea protect LN too, which does show that they will have some proficiency in LN and are confident in it to be able to beat someone like Anthony. And maybe Anthony might be able to. They are going to choose Hub 1, so we do see that they are both confident. Yes, they are both confident in their. Oh my god, it's Duplicity Shade.
Wait.
Sorry.
Oh my god, it is. Okay, so Hybrid 1 is a coverage of Duplicity Shade.
Yes. So yes, guys, we will see that the first ban is in fact LN1, which is a very release-heavy map. If you were in the last stream, you know how much release means to me. But that is a interesting map to ban, as they did choose Hybrid 1 as a protect. And so let's see just where LastingDiarrhea decides to RC3, which is in fact a Corejack map. Interesting.
Oh, huh. So RC3 is going to be the ban for, LastingDiarrhea. So that does mean LastingDiarrhea is very likely going to be, the LN oriented player. Going to be sticking to this LN picks, maybe sticking their head into the hybrids, and probably sticking to the EX2 as well. I am curious to see how Anthony will play this out, since I feel like they may have a good shot with Rice, but I guess we'll see from here.
100%. We are going to see LN3 as the first pick from Anthony. So, in fact, it is not just on LastingDiarrhea's side that we do see the LN proficiency and the LN confidence, but as a matter of fact, it is on both sides that they are going to be pretty confident in that LN kind of hybrid in situationship with their skill. And I am excited to see how this turns out, as this can show us the difference in skill and how they both perform on certain types of maps.
Yeah, I feel like, both players are showing preferences over LN and hybrid. I'm really curious to see how this goes, because if both players, have a really close skill and accuracy in the LN picks, I feel like this could come down to the Rice picks on, whoever is, less weak on it. But I guess we'll see if that makes sense.
Hey, don't call people weak. That's very belittling.
That's not what I'm insinuating.
Just got news that LastingDiarrhea has recently changed their Osu username to Neroni. So I'm going to be calling them LastingDiarrhea, but evidently their diarrhea was not very lasting, at least not in their username. But we do see them having a little bit of a score lead here, with a 0.3% accuracy difference and a 1,000 score lead.
Yeah, we do see that accuracy is going to be, pretty proficient on LastingDiarrhea's side. Holding a 99.8 compared to Anthony still holding 99.5, which is still a very good accuracy on, especially on the LN pick. But I guess we can just see that, you know, Diarrhea is just able to hold a much better accuracy in comparison.
That is very true. His Diarrhea is much more lasting on the LNs, as Lasting and LN both start with the same letter, while Anthony is not going to be able to hold up as much of a fight against Lasting in these type of situations. We are coming up into the main drop, one of the main drops here, and we do see that both of them are holding roughly a good accuracy. Neroni only dropping a couple points, and we do see a combo drop, which will result in a little bit of a power difference between them. And even though Neroni does have the the accuracy lead, they have the accuracy lead, the score difference is kind of leaning in Anthony's favor.
Yeah, you know what? Even though that, you know, Diarrhea got a miss, the scores are actually, you know, switching back and forth. You would expect, you know, just the score lead to immediately bleed into Anthony's side. However, the strong accuracy advantage is actually doing Diarrhea, you know, amazing favors right now. This could be very close if, you know, if Diarrhea can hold that combo and accuracy without another miss. It's very possible they could still take the point here despite, oh, never mind, they dropped again. So Anthony is going to be holding a much higher combo lead, and that is going to be bringing them to a score lead of almost 3,000.
That is very much true, and we do see that they are going to actually get that. Oh, actually, never mind, I can't read. Anthony is going to keep up that score difference, even though they do have a less accuracy, but they've been holding roughly the same accuracy for almost the entire map, and also keeping that full combo, which is very important in a map like this, and even many maps in the tournament, unlike, I forgot. Anyways, but we do see how important the combo is, especially against a map like this, where they're both holding not even that much of a difference in accuracy. We do see the lead kind of shrinking a little bit, going below 2,000, even going under 1,500. For Anthony's side, but he is still, or he, she, it, person thing is still holding that lead. And as we do come to the end of the map, the score difference is getting much, much tighter. Neroni is not really letting up a lead on Anthony, as they are trying to bring that score difference back as much as they can. It is oh my gosh, no way. We do see at the end of F5. Hello. Hello. What?
Okay.
If my name was Anthony2308, my entire computer would be destroyed. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Despite the fact that you know, Diarrhea dropped 4 misses, they still won just from sheer accuracy compared to, you know, Anthony's full combo. Oh my goodness! That came down to the 300. Oh my! Like, if Anthony got one less 300, they would have taken that point. But we do see that, you know, Diarrhea is actually going to have the first break point. You know, getting a win on Anthony's pick. And that will mean that, you know, Diarrhea will also get to have this next pick. So I feel like just from that, you know, map alone, I feel like that truly demonstrates how close this matchup could get. It could go both ways at this point, honestly.
That is true, and we do see Hubba Hubba being picked. Cancel 1, 2, 3, 4 being picked, and we do see that they already both have proficiency in kind of LN kind of patterns, especially with after seeing that they both had a pretty good score on the LN3. Neroni does seem to have a bit of a trouble keeping a combo, while Anthony does seem to be not as good as ratios and keeping accuracy as Neroni does. And so Lasting Diarrhea may have this map, but this map might not have Diarrhea.
I feel like with this matchup, I feel like we may see a very good match in terms of this versatility. I feel like both players are pretty proficient in that. I feel like this comes down to that accuracy versus combo, you know, oriented match. One player is going to be prioritizing combo and the other going to be prioritizing, you know, accuracy and ratio. And you know, if you combine that with the fact that they're pretty proficient in the versatility, this could very much go both ways.
I wholeheartedly agree. This is quite an interesting matchup, especially with the fact that there is a 5-point difference. I don't remember if you said that. I low-key zoned out. My ADHD is getting to me. We are going to see that Neroni is going to be kind of ratioing this beginning a little bit easier than Anthony will. But as they both get their foot in the door, they are going to be holding almost roughly the exact same accuracy, actually only having a 0.1% score difference. And we do see the not score difference, 0.1% accuracy difference, with a score difference kind of going between them. But it is going to be a little bit of Neroni's side with roughly a 200 to 500 range of a lead.
That's right. As you know, this is going to be a pretty decently short pick. I feel like I would consider a longer pick, you know, above 2.5 minutes, but this is closer to, you know, this is pretty close to 2 minutes. But we do see that, you know, that would mean that there's going to be like, you know, a lower margin of error. So a miss could be pretty devastating, you know, as we're already 130 into this map. And we do see that, you know, Diarrhea is going to be holding a pretty strong accuracy advantage. And Anthony is actually going to drop that full combo, giving, you know, Diarrhea a huge score lead to work with, almost 10,000. That's a pretty good cushion to work with.
That is a very good cushion to work with. 10K score is quite amazing to be able to just keep. But we do see the fact that even though last time Anthony was the one that held the combo more, Neroni is going to be able to keep this combo for longer than Anthony. Wait, what? Than Anthony has throughout the entire map. Anthony having the same trend of having a lesser accuracy, but the score difference is going to stay roughly the same. The stream is low-key lagging for me, so I can't see anything.
All right, well, we do see that both players are holding out pretty well so far. You know, the accuracies are not fluctuating at the moment. You know, they're remaining pretty consistent. But that does mean that Anthony won't be catching up anytime soon, and especially with how much time there is left on this map. You know, the score lead has been, you know, nearing that 9,000 to 10,000 lead. And with the remaining, I'd say 10 seconds, I guess this would mean that Diarrhea is going to get another point.
And even as this point comes to an end, I do want to note here that it is in fact the lower seed that has been beating the higher seed so far, which is just goes to show what I said at the beginning of even before the matchup started, that even though the seeds do show that, like, yes, they did have, one had more skill, one could have done better during the qualifiers. Even though there is that, the skill difference and the nerves can make a huge difference in certain types of maps and certain types of really just pressure points that someone can be taking from someone just like LastingDiarrhea when they're trying to get that combo, and even losing a first and second point to someone who is a seed below you. Your confidence can be wavering, and that can be very detrimental to your playstyle.
Absolutely. Well, we do see that it's going to be Anthony's pick this time, and they're going to pick RC1, the speed pick.
This is a very good song. But this is kind of interesting to see. We have not seen a Rice pick being thrown out here yet, so I'm not quite sure how we're going to see these two fare on Rice. Neroni does seem to be doing better than Anthony on the LN, so they might be trying to cushion on the fact that maybe, oh, they're better at me than LN, so I might be better than a Rice kind of mindset.
Yeah, I feel like it's I feel like it wouldn't be a risky pick, you know, considering that it's, you know, it could go towards both sides. Like, even if Anthony isn't that proficient in their accuracy for LN, that doesn't mean they could say the same for for their Rice. So I guess we'll just have to find out who will be able to take advantage of, you know, a Rice pick.
Absolutely. And we do see the fact that they are going to be coming out of here and not 1-milling this beginning. That is very interesting, to say the least. No shade, no shade. These players are amazing, and I love them both, even though I don't even know them or know who they are. But we do see through this beginning of the map, we are going to see that Neroni is going to be having a higher accuracy than Anthony, and keeping that little bit of a score separation between them, with roughly 200 to 500 kind of fluctuating. But Anthony is going to be starting to gain their accuracy as Neroni keeps roughly the same accuracy, even though it is really hard. Oh, they do gain, and gaining from a 99.96 to a 99.97 is very impressive. And here comes one of the first speedy parts, and we do see that they are both holding pretty much their own ground here. But the score difference is barely even wavering. It is still staying in that roughly 200 to 500 to maybe even 600 kind of range. They're both dropping a little bit. Their accuracies are exactly the same right now. And we do see Neroni drop at 200, which will put them below Anthony in the score difference and will also put them below in accuracy.
As these players will now able to catch a breather in this comment section, we do see that they're approaching that halfway mark with Anthony actually holding holding the accuracy advantage so far in this Rice pick. And that's not to say that, Diarrhea's accuracy is not bad at all. I feel like they kind of had like, a not so clean like 200, transition. But regardless, it's still the margin of error is still very small here. Anything could still happen. A single 200 can really devastate the lead of either players, and we'll just have to see how these players hold out in the last third of this map.
Absolutely. We do come into the second main drop here, where we did see Neroni drop a 200 and drop an accuracy check below Anthony, which was giving Anthony his cushion before, and we do see a drop from Neroni, giving another nail in the coffin, another stab in the back to him, while Anthony is going to keep that full combo and maybe even gain a little bit of accuracy. As we see the last stretch of the map come on, we also observe and not see. I'm trying not to use words here. We do observe the fact that Anthony is going to be, and Neroni dropped again. That is literally just the last final blow, knocking him when he's down, and Anthony will be able to secure the point here, and will make it 2-2-1.
Yeah, so we do see that, Diarrhea unfortunately choked that and lost, dropped their full combo. But regardless, even if Diarrhea did full combo, we do see that Anthony did have the better accuracy, that lower 300 count and one less 200, and not even like Diarrhea got a 50 in there too. So that would have been pretty devastating in their score lead, even if they did FC. But do mind you that, I'd still say Diarrhea is in a better, position. They still have that break point, and it's back to their pick.
Sorry. Anyways, I was obviously oh my god. Help me. Okay.
You got
we
that?
are going to see them pick. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. The water went the wrong way.
Oh.
Anyways.
Yeah, that was me, my bad.
We are Anyways, we're gonna see the LN2 being picked. Wasn't this a protect? From
this is this is actually Diarrhea's protect. It's going to be LN2 X, by Xi, and Session to Heaven, and very infamous song. So
infamous.
Oh yeah. But it is going to be, I believe, a cut version with the length being 2.5 minutes long.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the original is a 6 minute, I think.
So, yeah, somewhere around there.
It is time to open the OSU website. All right.
Just you gotta fact check that.
Yeah, I'm fact checking it. Hold up. The original is this is not a cut version, as a matter of fact.
Huh. Was it always that short?
Yes. Apparently.
Is this like
there's
the
a
Osa Mandela effect? Is this like the Osa Mandela effect?
This might be. I think it's because Freedom Dive is 6 minutes long, so it's like they mix together maybe.
No
Anyways,
way.
This is a beautiful song. I'm tearing up right now, man. I love this song so much.
I wholeheartedly agree. Anyways, on to the match. We do see that Anthony is actually going to be holding a strong accuracy so far in this LN, in this LN density pick. 99.9, and an LN map. It's very scary actually. And we do see that Anthony is gonna be holding about the high mid 99, and just from accuracy alone, we do see that Diarrhea is holding a 3,000 score lead.
Yes, 100%. As we do come up onto the first break, we are coming up into 1/3 of the map. 1/3 of the map is in fact done. 2/3 of the map await us, and we do have this beautiful build up that is seen in all of Zai's compositions. Bada bing, bada boom. And the one with the end is going to have a lead difference of roughly 4,000. and have a 99.87 versus a 99.64. And Anthony will maybe be able to get that lead back if Neroni does keep that trend of getting those misses, but it does not seem to be the case for right now. And as we do come up into the last third of the song, we are coming into a beautiful build-up, a beautiful drop. These Ellens are not resisting you or not helping you at all. They are attacking you. They are bringing you down to hell so that you can ascend up to the heavens. And we do see that Neroni is going to be building up that score difference, going up to a 6,000, keeping a 99.85 above that 99.59. Anthony is going to go below that 99.6, and the score difference is going to keep going up from a 6 almost to a 7,000 score lead. No pun intended. The full combos are still going on. The drop is still going. There is no relenting on the map. There's no relenting from the players. They are giving it their all. And we do see that at the end, there is a 9,000 lead from Neroni, securing their win, giving it 3-1.
Yeah, I think this really demonstrates just, the proficiency in, Diarrhea's LN density skill set. They have a very strong accuracy and a really good score. Actually, 995K on a density pick just really goes to show just how strong they are in this department. But that is still not to shame on Anthony. Their accuracy and score is still great nonetheless. But, compared to just, Diarrhea's accuracy, it is just not going to cut it. And that's going to bring the score lead 3-0 in Diarrhea's favor.
3-1.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said 3-0.
Did I?
Worst commentator in the world. Fire him right now.
Whoa, okay.
Anyways,
well, I apologize.
You better. Anyways, I got word. I'm going to, and I quote, Ascension to Heaven's first and original version was the short one used in the pool, coming from BMS. A lot of people know the song from the remaster and long version Zai did in Perosia. So that could be why. Some people, there might be famous maps that do use a long version and extended version that Zai recreated, but the original from BMS is a 2-minute song. And we do see RC4 being picked. No,
yes,
anyways,
we do see that.
RC4. Hey.
Whoa, don't cut me off there. Anyways, we do see that Anthony2308 is going to be picking Rice 4, which is going to be the tech pick, I believe. So I feel like Anthony learned that they may have a high proficiency in the Rice category. So I feel like they may be sticking to that at the time being. And honestly, if I were in their position, I'd do the same. I completely understand that.
I also very much agree. Winning on a Rice pick definitely means that you are going to... Winning on a Rice pick and losing on the LN picks definitely means that, oh, I'm better at Rice than this guy. I'm going to beat him in Rice. Or so they say. Anyways, we do see the Res 4 pick being picked in a pick. Anyways, this is a tech map, very interesting to say the least. There are a lot of kind of interesting ways that mini jacks are used in a streamy kind of way, and even the mapper themselves said there is a story being portrayed through the entire map, which I honestly I can't find because I am not the brightest or the sharpest tool in the shed. But we do see Neroni having a little bit of a point difference. It is going back and forth, actually. Don't even listen to me. Don't listen to the commentators. I'm not smart. We do see also a 99.89 or 99.9 to a 99.88. It is fluctuating all the time due to the just finger control needed for a map like this, for the beauty of this kind of map that is dancing across your screen, dancing into your hearts. And even, dang, I was trying to find a pun with the song, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I give it up. It's my turn. Okay, we do see that the players, the accuracy is actually going to be really close among these players. A 0.02 accuracy difference is not very much, and we're actually nearing to the halfway mark, and seeing that the accuracy is still this close just really goes to show that it's really up until the last half where we can see what determines who will, take this point. But at the time being, actually, no, we do see that Anthony's going to have a somewhat significant score drop. We do see that they did pick up a few 200s from there, but Diarrhea is actually going to get one there as well. And honestly, with a third of the map left, this could honestly go both ways.
1,000,000% it could go both ways. There is not that much of a difference. There's no cushion for either of them to be able to go fall back on, especially in a map like this. As I've said before, the finger control and the emotion being portrayed, it's really just beautiful, honestly. There was a 1,000 score difference there in the little break there for Neroni, having that lead above Anthony with a 0.05 scored percent difference, even going up to a 0.07. And we do see the score difference is going up. It is roughly a 1,500 to almost a 2,000 difference. Oh, and we do go up to a 3,000, now a 4,000 score difference. Neroni is just going to be able to get above Anthony on this ending here, really just giving that right hook that KOs Anthony, and Anthony will be losing this rice pick, which may have to give a turn of events for their strategy, especially with the rice pick and bouncing on them.
Yeah,
we do see that.
This is okay. Yeah, so we do see that. LastingDiarrhea is going to get yet another break point. Getting another a win from Anthony's pick. I feel like I'm coming back to the combo versus the accuracy thing again. I feel like Diarrhea might have started off with some pretty strong nerves, but I feel like after getting more comfortable and picking up some confidence, I feel like they're able to hold their combo much better, and I feel like we're seeing that being shown out. But we do see that Diarrhea is actually going to be picking Hybrid 1, and correct me if I'm wrong, that was actually Anthony's Protect. So this is a pretty bold move.
Ooh, it is a shortened version by CYC themselves. I'm quite excited to hear it as a 7-key player myself. I also do want to see if it's much better than the 7-key version. That 11-star is... No, it's alright. It's alright. But this is a really good song. I love the build-up on the song. The drop is amazing. Everything about it is really good. The edit will most likely be amazing. I definitely played it as a playtester. 100%. The timing was actually pretty much cut in half, actually. But we do see that they are about to start. Neroni and Anthony are going to go into this map. And honestly, I'm expecting that Neroni is going to win with their past LN skills just shining above Anthony's throughout this entire matchup.
All right, now as we're getting into this intro, we're going to see, the players, we just got to let them get their accuracy for a moment. And we do see that Anthony's going to have a rougher start. Diarrhea is still being very consistent in their accuracy, holding above 99.9. Anthony now starting to gain, nearing, that 99.7.
1,000,000%. They're going to be gaining. Never mind, they're not gaining. Don't even listen to me. Complicators. Anyways, Neroni is going to be keeping a high 99.8. Anthony is going to be at a roughly 99.6 to a 99.5 in the middle around there. And the song is going to be having a bit of just barragement against the fingers, especially with the LNs and these kind of streamy patterns with the rice between these LNs. They are going to be especially for a hybrid, as everybody should expecting, there is a rice and LN kind of patterning between them. And these just jumps are going to go throughout the map, throughout that part in the map. And we are going to see the Shirley parts and Neroni holding a 3,000 score lead.
Yeah, but we do see that, Diarrhea has been, actually dropped a little bit more accuracy since we've seen in that intro. However, Anthony has been pretty consistent, after that, intro. So at the time being, we do see that Diarrhea will have that accuracy advantage. And if things continue that way, we may see yet another point for Diarrhea. But it's, not too safe to say for sure, as we're getting into this main drop of the map, where it's very possible where one of these players can, let go of that. And just as I mentioned it, we do see that Diarrhea drops the full combo and the lead just immediately bled into Anthony's side. We do see that, the lead is actually less, around that 1,000 mark, which is as much as you would think, despite, Diarrhea dropping that full combo. But the lead is actually switching and going both ways now.
Well, on a map like this, especially with the amount of LN and rice being thrown at you, the score difference is going to give you a lot, not score difference, the accuracy difference is going to give you a lot of score. We did see that the main drop just came in there and it absolutely barraged Neroni and made them get that miss, but they are going to keep that accuracy. And as Nameless Fanatic has said, it is going to keep them above, even though a miss typically entails that you're going to lose that lead, especially with something like a 10,000 lead or a 10,000 score winning something, your mom. We do have, he is going to go up to a 3,000 score aheadness instead of a lead. I don't know what other word other than a lead. And Anthony is going to be losing this point, and Neroni is going to be winning this point to give up and go, not give up, oh my gosh, to give a 5-1 score. It is currently match point for Neroni, and it is Anthony's pick.
Yeah, we do see that Diarrhea is going to, get that match point, winning on Anthony's Protect, which was, a bold move to say for the, at the very least. Despite that, the fact that Diarrhea was actually got a miss and Anthony got a full combo, we do see that, Diarrhea was able to get that point just out of sheer accuracy alone. So I feel like realistically, Anthony does have the pick right now, so it is going to be, they will choose their destiny. But if I were them, I would be really stuck because, you've resorted to that Rice pick despite, like I'm trying to put myself in Anthony's shoes, and I'm like, if I were them, I would be like, okay, I played LN, we played the hybrid, and it just. Diarrhea just has a really strong accuracy. I tried the Rice. Diarrhea still beat me, but I did win once on one of the Rice picks. So Anthony is actually going to resort to the more physical pick, which is actually going to be the more physical LN pick, EX2. Now, I feel like this is going to be very risky. If Anthony has the physicality upper edge, I can definitely see this being a reasonable pick, but and if you don't know if your opponent can also back up that, physicality difficulty increase, it could still go both ways. But I guess we'll just have to see from here.
1,000,000%. We do see XX being picked. The LN physicality mixed LN map. Anthony is, as you said, picking up a risky stone here and throwing it across a lake full of alligators, as they are going to really just throw their hand into the treasure chest that Neroni's just been drinking out of and just try and get that treasure and get that point that Neroni's been securing throughout this entire time throughout these kind of patterns. And they are also risking the fact that maybe Neroni may or may not have the same kind of physicality or even better physicality to go along with their accuracy than Anthony does.
Yeah, I feel like this just might be demonstrating with the seeding number, because in the qualifiers usually you would have the more mid game physical picks, but it could still very well go both ways. Maybe Diarrhea underperformed in the qualifiers, which is I feel like what I'm under the assumption of, because with what I'm seeing from Diarrhea's performance, they very well may be underseeded, but that's a story for another time. We do see that both players are going to start out pretty well on the intro. However, Diarrhea, having the upper accuracy edge, and we do see that is demonstrated by the nearly 2,000 score lead.
Definitely. We are going to see the fact that.
Are you eating?
No. Right,
you're smiling behind that screen and just lying.
No, I'm not. How do you know? Yeah, that's what I thought. Kid.
Go back to commenting.
Anyways, hey, don't tell me what to do, boy. Anyways, we are going to see these streamy LN picks, these LN density picks that are going to be showing up a lot in a map like this, EX2 for the LN physicality. He's literally dog water. Sorry, oh my gosh, I can't say that. He's literally winning. Okay. He's literally playing LN. He's literally comboing. He literally has a full combo. Literally has a 35-point lead. We literally have a 99.8 to a 99.5. What are we doing? This is insane. This is an actual score difference that was kind of anticipated. Like, there's LN. He was not doing good on LN. Good accent. Anyways. But yeah, we are going to see these kind of Gracie interesting technical hybrid things that are showing up in a kind of LN mixed kind of map that you would see for an XX. And this 4-minute map, which is coming up into a halfway point here, and honestly, Anthony does not seem to be holding his own against Neroni. Neroni is going to be having a very good score. This was a 99.8 and a full combo at the exact same time. Neroni's trend of missing, if it does not happen, Anthony may not have a chance to win unless they just somehow pull through and start accuracy to the point where they get a 99.8 or something.
Yeah, we do see that there is, you know, a 1/3 of this map remaining. Both players still holding out that full combo. However, it is still very possible. Oh, I was just about to mention that it's possible for Nero to, you know, to drop that full combo. And guess what? Diarrhea dropped that full combo. But, however, despite dropping that full combo, they still have, you know, a score lead just from sheer ratio. And that lead isn't going to be streaking anytime soon, since they're already back at that 400, you know, combo cap. And we do see that, I think realistically, this could, that, you know, Diarrhea could only choke this if they dropped another miss, you know, in this last, brutal section. But Anthony is still holding out that full combo, and, you know, Neroni's accuracy is just doing wondrous favors right now.
Indubitably so. And we're coming up into the final stretch here with this LN density just berating your hands, brutally brutalizing your brutal playstyle until you brutally lose, or brutally win on a brutal map. And these brutal LNs, which you brutally have to hold brutally. And we are going to see a roughly 1,300 points lead from Neroni over here. With that accuracy is just, honestly, is terrifying against Anthony with a 99.7, even with the miss holding a higher accuracy than Anthony, which will be securing them that score lead, securing them that end. And as we come up onto the end here, if nobody chokes, cross my fingers, hope to die. And as the map comes to an end, we are going to see that LastingDiarrhea, the big Diarrhea, the Dia of the Rhea, is going to win 6-1. And as I said before this matchup, I was saying how it is entirely possible for even the lower seed to beat the higher seed, depending on the situation, depending on the nerves, depending on the patterns. And as we do see, my predictions have come true. Seed 29 has beaten seed 13 as the last match.
Yeah, so we do see that, you know, Diarrhea's, you know, consistency and accuracy was able to prevail in the end. Still, there is no shame in Anthony's performance. You know, we did see that Anthony was able to throughout the matches, you know, just hold a higher combo. However, just Diarrhea's combo holding and accuracy combined, it was really hard for, you know, Anthony to come back from that. And that is going to conclude this match for round of 16. We do see that, you know, we will see that it's not entirely over for Anthony. They will be dropped into the losers bracket, where they will still have to, you know, go through that, you know, loser bracket hell, or whatever you want to call it. And Diarrhea will proceed in quarterfinals.
Indubitably. And we do see LastingDiarrhea is going to be going against Snow next. And our next match is it is going to be LSSTKL versus LS Roby. Both Lettuce Squad members. A little bit of an internal strife there. Someone's gonna get mad. Not me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing an LS member versus another LS member. I think that's actually going to be a pretty interesting situation, especially in a tournament setting of all things. So I'm curious to see how that go. And that is going to be 6 hours from now on. So if you're available, make sure to tune in by then. This is Nameless Fanatic, joined with Burger Dog. And thank you for watching tonight's stream of CYC. I'll see you next time.
7